Okay, so where am I? I'm Kanyusi Dlamini and I am an e-commerce entrepreneur. So when did I start dropshipping? When did I start making money online? So it must have been 2017. I just graduated from Witwatersrand of Wits University in South Africa in Johannesburg. And I studied BCom Politics, Philosophy and Economics. But in the meantime, while I was studying, I always wanted to build something for myself. So I used to be a big fan of Elon Musk, Steve Jobs. I was always in that direction where I knew that I was not going to make my income or at least make my living through a 9 to 5 or a job. So I tried various things. I tried coaching. I was a passionate football coach, coach at Wits, coach at kids at Crawford, basketball, all types of coaching just to get extra capital. I did start a non-profit as well. That was more of the fear I had of running my own business, and I thought, you know what, if I run a non-profit, I will learn all the skills. But it was, let's say, my final year of 2016 when I decided, okay, cool, I'm gonna start a company called Augmented Instinct, and I'm gonna work to build a platform where people can list the jobs or tasks that they wanna that they don't have time for, and then people will go on the app called Job to Job, and basically they will apply for those jobs. So for instance, let's say I needed somebody to deliver an item from Fourways to Brown, and I was willing to pay them 200 Rand an hour for that. This was of course before the days of Uber and all that kind of stuff. And then someone would go on the app, accept the job for 200 or 250, they would negotiate on the app, and then they would go and do the task and do the exchange. So Job to Job provided that type of platform. So it didn't work out because the people who needed to do those type of jobs, they didn't have smartphones or they didn't have access to Wi-Fi or the internet, So this was back in 2017. Spent a lot of money building the app. I think it cost me and my partner back then about like 60,000 Rand. Spend money promoting, advertising it, the venue. We had like a launch party, so that was that cost us about 40,000 Rand in 2017. So altogether, cost came up to 100,000 Rand, and I think we had 250 downloads, and we had 0 paying subscribers. I was excited, to be honest. So in my mind, I honestly thought I was on my way to be a startup billionaire, to be honest with you. So I came crashing down quick, but to be honest, I learned so many skills building that app. At that point in time, in fact, I was pushed to focus all in onto this startup Job to Job, because the non-profit that I was involved in, we had the members that I was a part of, because I was the chairman. I had a vision for the non-profit, and it didn't go according to the vision I wanted, and then I basically got voted out in some type of way, and then I had that vigor and that fire in me, like, okay, I'll show these guys, and worked literally 12 months straight I had no idea how to code, I had no idea what I was doing, but at the end of the year, I definitely launched that product, and I was very proud of myself. So as much as we lost money and didn't make a cent, I learned valuable skills along the way, and I think that's really the genesis of me making platforms and me going to learning the skills needed to be successful in e-commerce started. Because one, I told myself that I can't spend that amount of money ever again building a platform. So I need to learn how to build websites and test ideas like that. So that was the one thing that I came out of that exercise. Number two, I said I need to learn how to market my products, because I couldn't pay 40,000 for a flop and have like physical venues to have, physical venues and having physical parties to launch digital products. So I think those two things made me think like I need to become quicker, and I need to become more economical, and I need to become better at selling. So how did I close that gap? I was researching online, and I was like, I need to learn how to make websites, and I came across WordPress. So WordPress is a website builder. It helps you build websites without needing to know how to code. That was fantastic for me. I felt like a genius. I felt like Einstein. Bear in mind, I did do IT in high school, but I was on Facebook most of the time, so I definitely didn't know how to code. So WordPress was a lifesaver for me. And I remember I built our first company website. Literally nothing fancy, just 5 pages home about contact us. It took me. I remember I watched a video for like 3 hours on YouTube. Probably took me like 2-3 days to complete that whole step by step. But at the end of that video, I was able to make a website. Hence, my tutorials are so long, but I guarantee success. And once I did that, it literally blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that you can build a website without coding. And it took me, in relative time, quite short. And then, of course, the hustler in me is like, yo, bro, I'm gonna go and start selling websites. And I remember I just went around selling websites for 5,000 Rand, 15,000 Rand. And wow, I was amazed that someone bought a website from me for 5,000 Rand. And I just went crazy. I think that year, this is now end of 2017, I think we made 250,000 Rand just on websites, And the great thing about websites is that you only have to build it once, and then you can charge a high upfront fee of maybe 20-30K, and then you can split it down in, like, let's say monthly payments, or like you said, 10 grand upfront, and then pay me 3 grand per month. And then once you're done paying, you say, okay, cool, I'm gonna make service level agreements, SLA, or maintenance contract. So then people start paying for the website, and then they start paying you 3 months for little changes that you've done. So people really love that business model. People really love the fact that they can get such a high valuable asset for a reasonable price. And on top of that, it didn't take me that much time. I've done the work maybe in the first week or two to build a website, and then I kept charging people for months, and I lived good. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it was probably end of 2017, 2018, and I was probably about, I think I was like maybe 24, 25. So it was good money, like making 5K, someone giving you 5K at that stage, like for what you believe in, was crazy to me. And it's like, it wasn't a skill that I just learned from school or my teachers told me. I literally YouTubed it. So I was like, what? And on that note, I started investigating more on YouTube. It's like, okay, I heard things like themes and scripts, and now I can copy like successful websites and then make my own version of those, or my own variation. And I was like, oh, okay, now I know how to make websites. Now, how do I turn my websites into apps? But that's a story for another day. So now I've been making websites for people, and I was like, okay, this is amazing, this is cool. And the one thing I kept realizing is that you can make a website, but you still need to send traffic towards it. Like, people need to see your website, like people need to advertise. So that changed my game. So I actually need to figure out, how do I bring traffic to my website? And that took me a while to figure out, So at that point in time, fast forward, so I've spoken to you about 2017, 2018. End of 2019, I still believe in job to job. I still believe that I approached it the wrong way. So I partnered with a few other very, very, very smart entrepreneurs. One guy had a phone company, and my other partners, he was like an actor, so he was like a content creator. Because in my mind, I was like, okay, now I know how to build apps, or build websites that I can turn into apps. I need to have smartphones that I can give to the app users for job to job, and then supply them with Wi-Fi, similar to how Uber came in. It's like giving smartphones to Uber drivers as contract, and then they use their rides to pay them off. So that was my thinking, but using this gentleman's smartphone. And then obviously I realized I need to bring traffic to my website, or traffic to the app. So I needed content creators. And then based on all of that, us just great minds coming together, we ended up forming another company called Imfundi. And I was like, wow, okay, cool. I know I came here with job to job, and now Imfundi was here. And basically that was online learning platform that was supposed to teach upcoming entrepreneurs how to become an entrepreneur. And we decided we're going to create a course. And I thought back then, it's like, what would be the skill that everyone needs to know? It's how to make money online through e-commerce. So at that time, now looking back, I can see that I was always destined to do this, but I had to build the necessary skills. I had to fail with job to job. I had to actually realize how expensive and understand the high barrier to entry. And because of that, that forced me into learning the necessary skills that I need to learn, website development, and then met and partnered with other amazing entrepreneurs. And we came up with Ian Fundi. Ian Fundi was a blast, one of the best times of my life. We literally won awards. That's the first time I was involved in a company that made over 7 figures in income and revenue. Literally, I met Sophia, the AI robot. So basically, I met ChatGPT's ancestor. We were on fire. We were on fire, but we didn't actually get the chance to create the courses, And because of that, what we did create though, we taught people how to build and fly drones, which is a story for another day. But we were deep in the heavy tech space, the 4IR space. I was like going around to different communities, giving them access to Wi-Fi, doing live streams, teaching people robotics. It was just another level. But that also was coaching me to understand the importance of technology and how we have to, as South Africans and as Black people, how to use these technologies to our advantage to make money. It's all big and well to have AI, but if it doesn't correlate or relate to you for you to make money, then what's the point of it? So that gave me a holistic understanding of technologies. I'm talking VR, virtual reality, augmented reality. I'm talking all types of technologies, drones, NFC, AI, all of that kind of stuff, But I still didn't build the course of e-commerce, Then we got hit with COVID 2020. Then a term called force majeure in contracts. Bro, it was tough. It was so tough. It was tough. It was very tough. Lost an office, lost some business partners, lost a lot of money, had a lot of people coming after me. For me to be able to come out of that, I had to ask myself, what can I do? What skill do I have to do? And at that time in 2020, it was COVID, March 2020, I promised myself that I will never ever let a global disease or the government ever shut down my business. So I need to make money no matter what. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to building websites. Went back to my core skill and I had to pay off debts. I remember I had to pay a lot of debt. So I just literally, this time I was like, okay, who would be interested? At that time, I think influencers are coming out and about, or personalities were jumping onto Instagram, and they really saw the value of a digital presence, they were trying to figure out how to monetize their social media presence. I was like, you know what, this is the time for me to jump in, sell them websites, and then upsell, basically saying, hey, why don't you start a brand, and then I'll give you the infrastructure. So I went on a mission. I remember I was charging like 7.5, so I dropped the prices from my websites because I wasn't pushing corporates or anything. I was going to influencers, charging 7.5, boom, create brands for them, blah, 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 blah. And at that time, I was starting to see how they bring traffic, how they create content, how they lead people to their websites and stuff like that. And in my back of my mind, I was studying. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was obviously using WordPress at that time, and I was like, okay, cool. This is how they do it. This is how they do it. Boy, your boy came out of that looking fresh, making money. I was shocked at that time, switched my bank. I'm not gonna put the bank that I was with under the bus, but NetBank looked after me, and I was on YouTube. I was quite aggressive, and I found this man, this young boy at that time. His name was Beheza. He was like 19, and he was basically straight on e-commerce, and he was just drop shipping. I was like, what is drop shipping? And then I figured out it's like selling products online, but you're not possessing any stock, and you're like a middleman between the customer and the supplier. And if you know how to make content, and if you know how to make a website, you can basically convince people to buy from you from an ad, and go to your website, and then you ship the product from the supplier to the customer without you doing anything. And I was like, man, I could do this. And I saw behaviors that made like $2 million. And this is, bear in mind, this is 2020. And I was like, nah, I need to get into this action right now. So then I built my first dropshipping store using WooCommerce, everything free, everything. They were using Shopify. I was like, nah, I had a broke mentality. I had like, nah, I have to do this as cheap as possible. And made my ads. And to my surprise, I made 2 sales. Well, the first sale was mind blowing. I will never forget. It was the best sale ever in my life. It was $23. But the problem is I was running ads on Facebook, and for me, like for the total cost for me to make a sale of $23 was $26. So every time I made a sale, I was losing money. And I was like, wow, okay, this really works, you know. And at that point, I thought to myself, okay, I can do everything else, but I'm not good at making content. How about I find influencers to partner with, but I build the brands, or I become a business partner, and their sole responsibility is to send traffic to my websites. Boom. So your boy's at it again. You know, we're like, okay, cool. Let's figure this out. Found a dear friend, someone who was close to me in a working relationship, and we decided to partner, and we created a very fantastic brand. It literally blew everything like out of the water. It did better than I thought it was gonna do. It was amazing. We did clip-on nose rings. It was fantastic, and I learned a lot again. I learned the power of content creators. I partnered with so many content creators, lowered my advertising cost, also learned how to run ads on Facebook, and that was the time of the emergence of TikTok. Booming. And that time people were just going viral left, right, and center, and we were making money off TikTok, you know. And from that business, the clip-on nose ring and jewelry business, I learned a lot. I learned so much. Branding, advertising, working with content creators, what type of content, consistency, you know. And then again, I employed more people, and also taught me how to become a better leader. Understanding the type of employees that you need. You know, there's operators and there's money getters, you know. And we were buying in bulk. So this was I wasn't drop shipping this time. This time I was buying product in bulk. I was branding it, I was packaging it, I was shipping it from China into South Africa. It was a legit business, you know, it was a legit business. It was booming, but it was a lot of stress, and the price points for the juice, I was competing with DJ Era, I was competing with Lovisa, and yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing, and I learned a lot of lessons. And then at that time, got hit with the Russia invaded Ukraine, and in that period, the price of oil skyrocketed. So that meant transport costs went up, and we were shipping from abroad, and then the exchange rate, because you know we're in rands, we sell in rands, but we pay in dollars. We went from like 16 to 19, and then we were selling our goods for like 300 and 400 rand maximum, you know. So it was eating up to our profits, just the South African economy, and we were already servicing a lower LSM, so that hit the business, you know. And then again, boom, I was down. It was a difficult period, and I had to figure it out, man. I had to figure it out. Tried various other apps as well, weren't successful. And then I think last year sometime I was like, you know what, I've been in e-commerce, while I've been in e-commerce, but I stopped because also the toil of picking, packing, shipping, of dealing with my Chinese suppliers. They also just left me, by the way. The lady who I was dealing with, she had a child, and she stopped working, and she's like, she can no longer service me. So it was a lot of lessons I learned, and I was like, okay, just someone, when I come back, and this was last year sometime, I was like, I'm gonna go back into e-commerce, but this time, I did not want to touch the products by myself. I definitely want to have a team that operates and deals with customer service. I want to make money as stress-free as possible. Looking back, I was playing myself. But yeah, and literally took my time and this is the method now I teach in my 0 to 1 million. Boom, I went, caught fire, found a product, went and 10 months down the line, 11 months, 12 months, we hit seven figures again. And that's the beauty about e-commerce and dropshipping is that you just need to be right once and you change your life, you know. So that's my story. That is why I am so passionate about teaching e-commerce, and now looking back I can see how I had to go through all these different things to have all the skills and understand the importance of building an online store, but also understanding that I can build it from literally with zero resources, with no money. And these are the skills that I've imparted on my course. If you read the book, if you've taken the coaching, and I promised myself that I would teach people once I hit seven figures how to do it as well. And I get so much joy. I want to see people win. You know, I think poverty is an atrocity. I think it's something that nobody should put in high regard. And being a South African and seeing what's happening, I mean, I definitely feel like e-commerce is the way forward. And I've never been employed by anybody. I've never been unemployed. I was always a businessman. Even when I was down and out and broke, I knew that I was gonna make more money than anybody around me. And I just had to believe. And I believe that's a mentality and a mindset shift that people need to get. So that's my rant, that's my video, that's who I am. I know I'm not a guru, I'm not a scammer. My stuff actually really works, but try it out, and that's all. Thank you.